Today's Living Word with Pastor Arlene.
Continuing our study in James, we're looking at James 1:15 now. And we had seen in 14 that we're tempted when we're drawn away by our own desires, and that God tempts no one. So verse 15 says, "Then when the desire has conceived," the desire, the temptation, that lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is full grown, brings forth to death. Now it's talking about death of the dream, death of not standing on the word, giving in to that temptation, which is opposite to the word, losing out in what your faith will get you. So therefore, it's very clear that lust conceives sin. An inordinate desire, a yearning for something outside of the Word of God will bring you to sin. I know we don't like to think of it that way, but when we give in to that, it's not God. He's not teaching us a lesson through this temptation, but we've given in. We conceive sin in our emotions. You see, thoughts produce emotions. Whatever you're thinking about, and if you're desiring something, going back to Eve, she thought about that tree, thought about that fruit, thought about the wisdom, thought of not having to depend on God, thinking God's holding out on her. As she thought that, your thinking causes your emotions to go in the way of your thinking. Your emotions set you in motion. And she was set in motion, and it caused her actions. And the action was to take of that tree, of that fruit, and eat it. Whatever you're allowing yourself to think about will cause your emotions to go and will put you in action. And your actions will either be glorifying to God or they will be sin. It's your choice. So what are you thinking about? You have to think about what you're thinking about. Does it line up with God? So again, you want to control sin, which means you're going to overcome that temptation. Quite simply, stop the emotions that are negative. How do you do that? You change what you're thinking about. So we must not conceive those thoughts. Remember, every thought is a word, and every word has seed. It's its own seed. So your thoughts are forming an imagination, and that's what you begin to hope for, good or bad. But another way, it says, then when desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, brings forth to death. The opposite of that, and the way I like to think about it, is when the desire of God is conceived, it brings forth faith, and faith, when it is finished, brings forth life. Think about that today. You are in control of your thoughts.